The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show Unleashed. Happy New Year to every single body out there. Thank you for spending part of your New Year here with me at the Unleashed Show. And this is the first Unleashed show of 2015. I hope 2014 was a bust-ass year for you. If it sucked ass, here's hoping that 2015 is a motherfucker for you. Sometimes shit gets bad. If you hang on long enough, shit will get good. I ain't got nothing else to say. We're going to go right into this show. I've got an interview here going with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. We sat down at the dinner table. I started drinking margaritas. He started drinking coffee. We answered a couple of emails that you guys sent in, wanting some motivation heading into your New Year's resolutions, all about making 2015 a better year for a brother or for a sister. I want to personally thank each and everybody for downloading this show, subscribing to the show, and helping it become the success that it has become. It's enabled me to reach all four corners of the globe. I get emails from every country that there is, always at questions@steveaustonshow.com. I'm not able to answer all the questions, but I read them all, and I appreciate everybody for taking their time out. And if you ever have some kind of information that you want to run by me, a way to make the show better, your complaints, your praise, your criticism, anything you have to offer, if you just want to write in and say hello, you send that to questions@steveaustonshow.com. Hey, I got my brother Jeff Williams who's going to jump in on this conversation. I'm talking with my buddy Ted Fowler. We're answering those questions. We're going to tell some stories, a bunch of bullshit. And now I'm going to go out and finish this open and go out and get in a deer stand. But keep in mind, folks, Broken Skull Challenge Season 2 premieres this Sunday, January 4th on CMT. Set your DVRs now. You do not want to miss one single episode of the toughest, baddest, coolest show on television today. Broken Skull Challenge Season 2 premieres this Sunday, January 4th on CMT. And also, folks, we got Redneck Island, which airs on Thursdays on CMT. Hey, I'm going to jump right into the show at this point. After a few words from one of my sponsors, and this is TrueCar. When you're ready to buy a car, TrueCar is changing car buying forever. Yes, TrueCar helps car buyers get rid of the fear that they might overpay. Every day, TrueCar users receive negotiation-free guaranteed savings, and TrueCar users save an average of $3,221 off MSRP. When you're ready to buy a car, just follow these 3 easy steps. First, download the TrueCar mobile app or go to TrueCar.com to find out what others paid for the car you want. Then register to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings. Third step is simple. Take your guaranteed savings certificate to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better, hassle-free car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. With TrueCar, you can save time, save money, and never overpay. To see how much you can save on the car you want, simply download the TrueCar mobile app or visit TrueCar.com today.
Hey fans, Adam Carolla here. You know my podcast, it's the most downloaded podcast in the world according to Guinness Book of World Records. Always available 24/7 at PodcastOne.com. Great guests, great topics, and new listeners always welcome. So thank you and mahalo.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the Broken Skull Ranch, sitting over here at the dinner table with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. We're going to go ahead and roll these microphones while I'm getting dialed in and set up. Today is the New Year's Eve, New Year's resolution show, Teddy. We're going to give people some 411, cut a few motivational promos. You have one or two requests for some promos, Ted. Welcome to the show. You're all sleepy-headed over there. It's interesting. I come over here, House of Fire, and I figured I got to turn this show in a day early so Stacy can put it together and she can go out and enjoy New Year's Eve because then the show drops on Thursday. So we're turning this thing in early. We got a guy out there doing some maintenance on the tractors, correct, stuff that we cannot do. It's 1:25 as we speak. We're going to open up a can of audio whoop-ass, spread out some wisdom, share a few stories that happened out here at the Broken Skull Ranch. And I came over here to continue down the path that I was on, though, Teddy. I walked in with a margarita. I got 3 shots of white tequila in this glass, and hell, I heard your coffee maker over at Rumblings, and well, shit, Me and Teddy going to be on different pages today. I said, I'll be the yin and you be the yang. So you said you had about 12 cups of coffee. Are you having a hard time getting going?
No, man, I got up earlier than you. I went out hunting this morning, so, I've been up since 5:15.
We always do a deal out here at the ranch where, if I'm always ribbing Teddy or whatever, I'll say, hey, Teddy, you can go out in the morning or you can sleep in with the girls.
Yeah, stay
I've been the one sleeping in with the girls. Well, not the girls, my wife. Because none of the women out here ever make the morning hunt. My wife doesn't actually hunt. She sits in a deer stand in the evenings, but that's our kind of little knock on each other. So now I slept in today, dude. I knew that I was going to have to crank this podcast out, and so I got up. My alarm clock went off at 6 a.m. this morning, and I knew what my strategy was. Go straight to the refrigerator. X that. The freezer part of my refrigerator. Pull out that Tito's vodka. Pour in about 2 inches at the bottom of a glass. Douse over a little bit of orange juice, and drink that and go back to sleep. And I got about 2.5 more hours of sleep due to that protocol. Now, in the way of building muscle mass and trying to get in shape for this little project I got coming up, it didn't do a goddamn thing to facilitate that process. But nonetheless, by the time I'm sitting up in there and it's kind of sun's starting to come up with con hair, coming through the curtains, I went ahead and drew them. And I'm sitting there just kind of drinking a little vodka orange juice and I put it down and just went back off to La La Land when you was out there chasing deer. Did you see anything this morning?
Saw a handful of deer. I mean, one older deer that we were talking about, he's not helping the program, but he's not hurting.
Yeah.
So, if somebody's got an itchy trigger finger, wants some meat, he could go. But just the same cast of characters. A pretty good young, 3.5-year-old deer, that white-horned one that we were talking about. Yeah, I saw him. But, nothing to peg the needle, that's for sure.
But I tell you what, there's a lot of people out there that don't deer hunt, but we do out here at the Broken Skull Ranch. I've been hunting my entire life, as well as Ted Fowler here. Got a great story yesterday. You can't see the visuals on this because it's a podcast. It's audio only, but Ted had the goddamnest story I've ever heard deer hunting yesterday. The bucks out here are in rut. And to the people out there that don't know what the rut is, that's when the bucks are kind of charged up on testosterone. This is the part of the year where they breed, and the does go into estrus. They go into heat. And, man, that scent, that smell just drives the bucks crazy, and that's when they do their breeding. And during this time, there's some very intense fights out here, not just the Broken Skull Ranch, but in any place where you have deer. When it's breeding season, these bucks fight, and they're fighting for breeding rights, and it's to the death sometimes because they ain't fucking around. This ain't no pro wrestling match.
Nope.
You might as well put them in an octagon and let them go.
Yeah.
Put Big John McCarthy out there to referee the sumbitch, and I only know if Big John can keep these guys in check. But anyway, Teddy had a story. He was out there hunting a particular 9-point buck that we kind of wanted taken off the ranch. We had this buck aged at about 6.5 years old, and Teddy was sitting over in the middle of the pasture. And the day before, an 11-point had come and given this 9-point a hard time. Teddy, pick up the story and drop in the details about how the situation went down, because this is a great story.
Well, the day before, like I said, I was watching that buck. That 11-point came in and kind of gave him the stink eye.
And when I say stink eye, when Teddy says stink eye, now here's the thing. When these deer kind of start jousting and getting ready to kind of go in for the kill and start fighting, they'll go in like a clockwise or counterclockwise circle, and they turn their heads in and down, and they lay their ears back. And it's almost like watching slow motion or watching two pro wrestlers circle in the ring. And these guys are dead serious. They're sizing each other's up. They're sizing each other up. They're coming up with a little bit of strategy. And, usually it's the old dip of the head and clash. There go the antlers. And so that's what these guys were doing. Let me go ahead with your story.
Yeah, and they'll bristle up their fur, so all of a sudden they'll go from a light gray to kind of a dark brown, and that's when you know that they mean business. So the 9-pointer is standing, I don't know, maybe 50 yards away from the feeder, and that 11 comes in and pretty much let everybody know, hey, I'm the boss. And that 9-pointer didn't want anything to do, so he took off, and that spared him for the day. Went back the next day, didn't see him in the morning. Hunted that evening. As soon as the feeder went off, he came out. He was out there with a handful of other deer, and so I go ahead and shoot him. I don't want to get real graphic about that.
No, but the graphics was because Teddy doesn't, there's a lot of non-hunters out there, but this is the story.
Yeah.
But the deer reared up on both legs, straight up in the air, vertical.
Yeah.
And then just went straight down to the plant.
Yeah, didn't go a foot, didn't kick.
He didn't suffer.
No, he was dead. He was dead.
I'm a proud hunter.
Right away.
Teddy made a great shot. The deer reared up, went down, but that's imperative to know for the rest of the story.
Well, and that's, there's two things about that. I mean, we wait and make the optimum shot, so it's a quick, clean kill. And, dude, I'm lazy. I don't want to go tracking that thing through the brush,
Especially in the South Texas brush where everything has a thorn on it and will cut your stick and hurt you. Go ahead. The 11 point now is in waiting. Yeah.
And see, I didn't know that the 11 point was there. So, the buck's down. I go ahead and, unload the gun, put the binoculars away, put the camera away, because I'm under the assumption, once the animal, has been shot, all the excitement's over. There's nothing left to film.
He's just laying there. Ted's going to go put him on the back of the Polaris and bring him in. But Ted has a backpack just like I do. We got the cameras in there to take our still photos, our video cameras, the binoculars, maybe a water or Red Bull. So he's spooling up all his stuff because the job is done. He's going to go collect the buck and come over here to the cleaning station.
Yeah, come back and take care of it. Still daylight hours.
Something else happens.
Yeah. So I look out onto the field, and, there's my buck laying there dead, and lo and behold, that 11-pointer comes saddling up to his right side, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And his hair gets all bristled up, and he starts that sideways walk, and he tilts his head down to the side, and I'm like, you are shitting me. This guy's ready to fight. And the other guy...
He gonna kick a brother while he's down.
Yeah, apparently he didn't get the newsletter that this guy's dead. Yeah. So he walks around him for just a split second, and all of a sudden, it's like somebody rang a bell, and he just pounces head first into that buck's head, and they start clashing antlers. And, I mean, obviously the one's dead.
Yeah.
But the other guy is giving him the business. And my biggest fear, is that he's going to get broken up. Get his antler.
Teddy didn't want his buck's antlers to get broken. We're about 2/3 into the rut.
Correct.
And with all the fighting that's going on, a lot of times deers will break off their tines. And, if you're going to mount a deer, you always like the tines to be intact. Now, you can have a taxidermist fix that. I just hate to go down that route.
Correct.
So, excuse me. So anyway, there he is.
Yeah, so he's thrashing that dead buck around, and he literally picks his head and chest up off of the ground using his antlers, Then he shakes his head a couple of times. They come unattached. The buck is laying with his stomach exposed, and that live buck just went, bonkers and went head first with his antlers into that other buck's stomach and basically bulldozed him about 5 or 6 feet across the ground, because he's literally trying to kill him, to gore him to death. And all I can see is my deer getting torn up. So, hell, I'd, being the quick thinker, I just... Now,
that means that Ted is not a rocket scientist. What'd you do?
Yeah, there's a real good reason why I'm a carpenter and not an animal biologist. Hell, I come, peeling out of the blind, and I start running towards that thing, yelling, hey, and I'm waving my hands like an idiot. And that buck is just kicking that other, kicking the dead buck's ass. And he's oblivious to me coming up there. I get to within about 20 yards, and he stops. Once he realizes there's more commotion going on, there's some idiot running at him, waving his arms. That son of a gun stops and looks at me, and then I stop, and I'm like, well, shit. Yeah.
Did you start pawing the ground and turn your head sideways?
Yeah, piss on my legs. Yeah, and I'm thinking, God damn it, I got a pocket knife with me, and that's it. And then the buck, he took about 15 steps, and he stopped and turned around again. And then he realized, that's some idiot that's in there shooting, so maybe I should leave. Yeah, and he left.
But you didn't take your gun with you. And there's so many people, Teddy, and you know this, but obviously you didn't want your buck get torn up and you didn't have your gun with you. But, I mean, people don't understand. When these white-tailed bucks fight, I mean, they are, and they're some of the most powerful animals out there. That's why I have so much respect for them. I mean, it's my favorite North American animal to hunt, hands down. It's the white-tailed deer, and I love them out here in South Texas. And they mean business, mister. And you get some of these idiots out here in some of these state parks all over the world, whatever, wanting to feed the wild animals. And you'll see a lot of times, man, when those bucks, or even a doe, rears up on her back feet and starts giving it the old boxing match, mister, you are in for a world of goddamn trouble, because when they're going to open up a can, A full-grown man ain't going to beat up a full-grown whitetail.
Nope.
Ain't going to happen.
No, not even close. Not even
Not even Brock Lesnar.
A couple of years ago, you remember, I was on the north end, and there were those two bucks that actually had their antlers locked together, and I watched those guys for probably 30 minutes in the early morning light, and the whole time I was thinking, man, how are we going to subdue these guys to get them apart? Because, Jesus, I mean, the power that they possess and those hooves are sharp. The last thing they're going to do is, be docile, while we're trying to help them out, man.
They don't know you're trying to help them out.
Oh, yeah.
You got a couple of human beings that they're not really down with, and,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people think when they get in there, and start jacking around with wild animals. It's,
So whatever happened to those $2?
They eventually came apart.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they stood there breathing heavy because they were winded, and they literally, were locked together. Like the old Chinese finger trap, had them stuck.
What's the Chinese finger trap?
Dude, it's that little piece of plastic where you put both your fingers in, and then you go to pull it out, and it cinches down like the mesh bag that you'll get produce in at the grocery store, or onions in. Something like that. You never saw one of those?
No. What? I mean, so will you buy them online?
I'll get you one for Christmas.
No. The Chinese finger trap sound like something I need to stay away from. Teddy, it's New Year's, man. We're going to talk about some other stories that happened out here during 2014, this illustrious year that is coming to a close. What were some of the highs and lows for you on a personal level? Was it a good year for Ted Fowler Construction?
Yeah, business was good. Business was real good. Got no complaints. Got a lot of stuff lined up, so next year's going to be pretty good as well.
Ted, here's a question for you. You've been so successful down in Rockport, Texas with your business, and I always tell other people you hired in giraffe pussy, but due to the fact that you were so successful in 2014, I'm thinking this. Picture a giraffe on a pair of stilts working for Barnum and Bailey Circus. Now, that's some real high giraffe pussy because it's on a 10-foot stilt. Are you going to jack your prices that high, Teddy? The working man won't be able to afford the working man that's charging higher than a giraffe pussy on stilts.
No. It won't be on stilts. There may be a slight increase, but...
Hey, brother got to pay the bills. But it's been a good year for you down there?
Yeah, it's been a real good year. Real good year.
You ever think about pulling out of Rockport?
No, man. No, I love it down
Los
there.
Angeles, maybe getting the movie business.
Dude, I couldn't take the pay cut.
I could see you on an audition for a movie part. Boy, that'd be great.
Boy, yeah, you talk about classy.
You got some highs in 2014. Business was good. Your dogs are good. You got Tula trained up, running quail. When we're going to see her in action? I ain't seen her in action yet.
Trying to find some quail where there's not cactus.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's not copacetic. Like, what do they do?
She'll...
Put like a little Kevlar shield on them or just the feet?
No, dude, if you put
Dude,
boots...
you were just out there walking in the front yard. It didn't look like her feet was bothering.
No, that doesn't bother her. But if I take her to a pear patch, where all the quail are, and turn her loose, she'll go balls out into that thing, without reservation. She won't run with booties on.
Right.
If you put, protective booties on. But where she'll take an injury is to the face or to the chest by running into that stuff, and she doesn't know enough. She doesn't have that internal governor to slow her down, to pace herself. Like Cassie... Hershey, they would pick their way through, find easy spots. No, Tula go balls out.
All right, now, Caspia, your prize chocolate lab. She's a bird-fetching son of a gun. And
Not
a
this
sweetheart
year.
of a dog. Now, she had knee surgery.
Yep.
How's she doing? She's on the mend. She 100% yet? And because you didn't get a chance to get her out there hunting.
No, you know what? I'd say she's about 90%. I mean, that's why I've been taking her for the walks, try to strengthen up that leg. The doctor said no hunting at all this year. And I'll probably... No, I will hunt her because I don't listen. But I'll have her do a couple of small retrieves later on in the season. Nothing crazy.
How long's dove season last out here?
Well, duck season lasts into January.
Good as a bird to her, it don't make a shit. If
It
she
don't
sees
make
it fall,
a shit.
she's going to go get it.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, whether it's a dove or a,
My
condor,
damn
she
brother-in-law
doesn't matter.
came out this past week. He's from South Carolina. Somebody shot a mallard. What was that other duck he shot out there?
It was a breeding pair. Well, a male and a female mallard. Hen
Oh,
and
they're
a-
both mallards?
Hen and a drake, yes, sir.
Dude, we don't see too many of those out here. Why not?
Not at all. Man, they don't really get this far south on the Central Flyway, which is what we're in.
Yep.
They're the last ducks to leave. When a cold front comes through, pushes from the north to the south down into Mexico, the teal, the smaller ducks, they haul balls first, but the mallards are the last ones to leave.
Goddamn, you ain't gonna get hot about it.
No, I'm just trying to give you a little 411 on ducks.
Segway. Boy, if I tell you, if they don't get your goddamn blood pulsing, I don't know what the fuck will. You must be dead if that didn't rock your ass. Little stillboard from Zach Wild before we segue into some other bullshit. Teddy, you mentioned Tula not want to run in booties. Speaking of booties, did you get your share of ass in 2014?
Yes, sir, I did.
Could you have had more?
Of course.
So your sight's on 2015. Happy, copacetic?
Not unlike my construction company, hopefully there will be a slight increase.
Teddy, I've got to ask you. You're semi-single, but just because you're not, really married like myself.
Correct.
How much pussy is too much pussy for a man?
Goddamn, when I get close, I'll let you know. When I get close.
As he sips on his coffee, and you hear the rumble of my rocks right there drinking a margarita. Goddamn, that's probably one of the best answers I think I've ever heard on this show, Teddy. I've interviewed a lot of cats. When I get close, I'll let you know. You was out there deadlifting. You started deadlifting this year
yes,
with
sir.
me.
Yeah.
Now, has that improved your performance in the bed?
I like to think so. To think so. Yeah, strengthen up my ground game.
Teddy, I've known you for 8 years. I ain't never seen you do one abdominal exercise since the whole time I've known you. Except for the last 2 months. You started working on your core.
Correct.
Any payoff?
Man, actually, I think it is. I mean, I'm a long way from, having any abs that you can see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you can fuck
cool with
better.
that. Yeah. Stamina is a little better.
I tell you what, man, I was going to do the DDP yoga program. DDP yoga is one of the sponsors of my show, and of course, one of my best friends, Diamond Dallas Page, invented the program. And I'd been so hell-bent on getting into the DDP yoga thing, and I brought one of the DVDs down here for me to get into this year, but I've been so goddamn hectic. Man, you see the schedule.
Correct.
If I ain't doing all this podcast stuff, I've got other stuff that I've got to do. So, and on top of being on the mower, you and me kind of swapping out on that, patching the fence. I ain't had time to get into any DDP yoga. And I told these people a couple of years ago, whether it was last year, I've been doing this podcast for about a year and a half, year and 3/4, that I was going to get into DDP yoga and just fuck my way to fitness.
I remember.
Man, God damn it. I got to do some core work. I'm disappointed. I'm still, now, I ain't going to brag on myself in bed, and I'm certainly no slouch either, but I think if I had a little bit more core strength, I might be able to do a little bit better damage in the sack. And I mean damage in a good way. So
I'm going to have to take your word on that.
So that's my New Year's resolution, to strengthen up my core so I can fuck better. Now, I think that's a realistic New Year's resolution, isn't it?
I agree, yeah.
I mean, certainly two guys who love the female anatomy as much as you and myself do, and one that would commit themselves to perform better for the good of both people.
Correct.
And, quite selfishly for me, so I don't blow up. It's ain't nothing but a thing when you're kind of trying to go at it and you're sweating bullets because your goddamn stomach's cramping up. And I got this one arm that don't straighten up, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage anyway. So I got to do something to goddamn get back in shape.
Dude, I started working more on my calves. I think that's another.
I know you, but you got to start going them calves. I've seen you on those calf raises. You got to go down a little bit further, get that stretch, and then come all the way up.
Yeah. I know. I don't.
But
go
working your calves ain't gonna help you fuck.
Well, actually.
Well, okay, never mind. Maybe it will.
I got this one little trick I do.
Dad had a lot of people. That's enough about the crass horse shit, talking about pussy and stuff like that. Although I do love me some pussy. Teddy, we had a lot of people sending some questions, some motivational stuff. And let's get into a couple of these questions, because you and me got to go out there and get in a deer stand here in a little bit. Got to turn in this podcast, do my reads, do all that bullshit. And here's one. Start this thing off from Jamie over in Ann Arbor. And he says, "Hey, Steve, I recently had shoulder surgery on a torn labrum and deltoid and have been slacking on my PT. PT stands for physical therapy. Will you give me a profanity-laced promo telling me to get my lazy ass up? Thanks. Swig of water for the lazy man. Well, Jamie, you sorry sack of shit. How? I thought the labrum was a part of the pussy. That's the labia. The labrum is in the shoulder. I'm fucking with you, Jamie. I'm like a human anatomy machine over to this motherfucker at the Broken Skull Ranch. Now, I don't know how in the fuck you think you're going to get your ass back in shape without doing your PT. Teddy, talk to this motherfucker. That damn PT ain't going to happen by itself. If you don't drive yourself and go over there and do your therapy, your shoulder's going to stay weaker than fuck. Your damn shoulder's going to be a piece of shit. I ain't going to be able to shit or wind your watch, jerk off. You got a shrunk up arm. You don't get no pussy with a torn labrum.
No, not carrying around something that looks like a chicken wing on that end of your shirt. No.
Damn, dude. You had to go chicken wing on a brother right off
I
the
see a
bat.
little T-Rex action going on.
Boy, I tell you what, until you get that labrum PT'd up, I ain't going to come out to dinner with you because I know you ain't going to be able to reach for that check. Shit. I know I'm going to be buying us dinner if we go out to eat. Jamie, you're sorry, son of a bitch. When you go through as many surgeries as I've had, if you know as many people that have had surgeries that I do, everybody that I know in the business of pro wrestling has had at least 1 to 5 major surgeries. So it's all about the PT, dude, man. Get in there and get your ass in there and be consistent. And I'll go back to this consistency thing all throughout the podcast because at the end of the day, you know, I've always been kind of one of those guys that gets in damn good shape, and then all of a sudden deer season hits, and it's time to live a little bit of life
right.
and drink a few beers and eat some lasagna and bullshit like that. So now I'm on upswing, too, trying to get my ass back in the gym, and recently got a guy write up a diet for me, but due to the fact we've been entertaining so many motherfuckers out here, Teddy, with family members and
it's impossible
people
to
coming
eat,
out
right?
here, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, and tonight now, you know, my family has just hauled ass. We still got a couple other people out here, but dude, I'm doing a quiet evening tonight, and I'm taking my ass to bed because I got 6 days before I ship out and go do that project.
Right.
So I got to kind of tone it down. I got to learn a few lines, go do this little bullshit cameo part in this movie. So anyway, Jamie, swig of water for the lazy man. Don't be lazy. Get your ass in there and do your PT, brother. Hey, man, here's one here, Teddy. Huge fan of the Texas Rattlesnake and the podcast. Steve, do you have a horseshoe pit set up at the BSR? It'd be fun to listen to you and Ted Fowler 361 shoot the breeze and hear a few clanks of the shoes hitting the stakes while talking the great sport of wrestling sports entertainment. Thanks, Scrunch Dog 8 on Twitter. Well, old Scrunch Dog, you know what, Teddy? I've owned this place 8 years, and we ain't got no washers. We ain't got no, you ever pitched washers before? We ain't got no horseshoes. How come we ain't got no horseshoes? Now, I own the place. I could have said, Ted, let's put up a horseshoe pit.
We could get...
You dig throwing horseshoes?
Yeah, either that or cornhole. Either one of those games. I'm not really big on the washers.
Yeah.
Yeah, either horseshoes or cornhole.
My problem is this. I'm too competitive. See, if I go out there and you start smoking me throwing the horseshoes, well, then, there's animosity. We got an electronic dartboard. Let me say, I've got a...
I was afraid you were going to go there.
Goddamn right I'm going there. I hate losing. I got a badass electronic dartboard out in the pavilion where we have all of our bullshit and a big screen TV to watch a UFC, sound system, our gym, power rack, all the weights set up, all my neon signs and beer memorabilia. And I got a dartboard over there. And so I asked old Teddy, I said, hey, man, how did you answer this question? I said, hey, man, you ever throw any darts?
I said, I have once or twice.
So anyway, I turn on the dartboard. It makes all the little noises that it makes, and we proceed to step back about 7-8 feet, whatever the damn throw distance was. We measured it out, put a piece of tape on the ground, and Teddy started smoking my ass one game after the next. And every time it looked like I might win, something happened that I ended up losing again. So, Teddy, how long has it been since we played darts?
About 4 years.
Yeah. I like throwing darts. And so I figured I'd go back to L.A. because I got a smaller electronic board in my garage.
Right.
And I figured I'd start practicing so I could beat your ass. and I never got a chance to practice because I'm always doing something else. So I guess maybe when I improve my skill level, we'll start playing darts again because it was fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had fun throwing against you, but when I kept losing, well, it kind of sucked ass.
Well, it didn't help when I was laughing either.
No, because it really made me want to punch you in the mouth. But as much as I hate losing, I can turn to be a bad sport. Goddamn, we got to get Big John McCarthy to come out here and referee our dart game. Well, Steve, why specifically did you bring me out here? Well, because I keep losing. So anyway, horseshoes, man, I just ain't been a big horseshoe guy. I've certainly pitched my fair share of horseshoes back in the day when people had them, but ain't my cup of tea. I'd rather sit there and drink and listen to music.
I mean, something that we could do inside of the pavilion, I think, would be more, I think we would use it more. Yeah, but I'm the same way, man. I just sit on my ass and drink.
Hey, here's another thing you and I don't do. I never have been a big card player. I got a lot of buddies just sit around and play poker or play dominoes. And I just ain't never been a card player.
No, dude. I don't like to gamble.
I mean, even play solitaire.
Even play for fun. No, I hate that shit. That's what old people do. Play cards.
There's a lot of young people. There's a lot of young people that play solitaire.
It's because they don't hunt.
No. Did you ever do any kind of activity like that?
No. I don't like board games. I don't like, I don't like dice. I don't like cards. No, that's boring to me.
So what?
But I like darts. I like shooting pool.
See,
stuff you can do.
So yeah, I'd bring a pool table out here and get my ass smoked in pool. That wouldn't be worth a flying fuck either.
Now I will tell you this: I had a pool table in my house, so I know I've played pool once or twice as well.
See, you're one of those motherfuckers with your carpentry, and you kind of know those angles. See, I'm okay at just drawing down on the ball that I'm trying to shoot.
Right.
But then when I try to put a little bit of English to set my cue ball up to, play my next shot so I can play ahead, like the good people do.
Right.
Well, then I fuck myself up because if I just go to knock the ball in, I'm good, but I can't set up my next shot, and that's my downfall.
Well, it helps if you have a pool table at your house. You can practice.
Yeah, but I ain't going to bring a motherfucker out here. Fuck, if Willie Moscone or Minnesota Fats was still around, I'd hire them to personally coach me. And it's always funny because, back in the day when you fancy yourself as a pool player, you always want to go to the store and get you a good stick.
Correct.
I had a couple of pool cues when I was in WWE. We had a couple of stone cold pool cues. Mm-hmm. But I was always like, man, when you watch some of those old guys or some of those guys, you've seen them at the bar. You've done your share of bar hopping.
Yep.
You get that guy, he'll roll in there and he'll pull out that badass several $100, $1,000 stick, whatever, screw that thing together and think he's the cat's ass. And all of a sudden you got some guy that looks like a gypsy over there in the corner missing about 3 teeth, and he's got the crooked stick that just came off the rack, and he's beating everybody's ass.
Correct. Yeah, that guy with his own pool stick is either real good or really shitty.
Yeah. And but don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of people hustled by that
guy, yeah. But there's also been a lot of people hustled by that guy missing 3 teeth using the house stick.
That's what I'm saying. You ever been hustled in a pool hall?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, in a bar, not in a pool hall.
So yeah,
I got my ass handed to me, man. I started running the table a few times on this guy and drinking Jack, and boy, I started beating my chest, and fuck, I'm playing on.
Was he setting you up?
Yeah, badly. Yeah, and then I opened my fucking mouth without thinking. Imagine that from me. Yeah, no, we played. I beat him 3 games, and I mean, not handily, but. Because he wasn't letting me blow him out of the water. But by the same token, in my mind, I'm thinking, God damn, if I would have just, made that one shot, it would have been over. And this guy's still laying money down. And he was like, dude, I got $200 left in my pocket. Let's call it quits because I'm going to split. Let's play, you in for all. And I'm going, yeah, dude, because I've already taken, $20 a game for 3 games. Hell, I'm $60 in. So yeah, like a dumbass, I pitch 140 of my money out there, and that's the last time I saw that shit. Yeah, once that paper hit the table, yeah, his whole demeanor is like when that 12-point walked up on that dead buck. You saw a whole change of demeanor.
So Teddy, you're not frequenting the bar scene as much. So now you're not really, and plus, time's been where they are, and you're not exactly going to make money with your pool career. You got a better chance of being hustled, but you ain't been going to the bars as much no more.
No, man, it's too.
Well, you get too old?
Too much trouble. You know what I mean? All the young kids in there raising hell, and dude, I'm.
The bar scene has changed, though, Teddy.
The bar scene has
changed. Back in the day, you could go to a bar, and this is just the way it is. It's plain and God, honest truth. you could go to the bar and just get totally shit-faced and people would drive home.
Correct.
I mean, and that's just the way it was.
Correct.
But these days, man, I mean, and I say this, do not drink and drive ever. Did I do that a few times back in my wilder days? Yes, I did.
Yep.
I'm guilty. But through all the trials and tribulations, the headaches, hassles, and horseshit, if I could give anybody any piece of advice, I'd like to help a brother out every now and then on this show for a shoot with some real deal advice. Don't ever drink and drive. But it's really changed the bar business, has it not?
Yes, absolutely. Now that the bar owners are responsible for, the actions of their patrons, where before, God damn, you'd see a guy falling ass drunk and still getting served. They don't do that stuff anymore. And especially, the small town I live in, where the cops are going to sit because there's only a couple of ways, out of, we've got a handful of bars. And late at night coming out for those roads, they're looking for something. You know what I mean?
And nobody wants to use a designated driver because they want to do it themselves. They want to have a few pops, get behind the wheel, and that's a big mistake once again.
Huge.
But that's just a mentality.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to just drag some deadbeat or their buddy to be the designated driver so they can just sit there and get shit-faced. They want to do it themselves.
Dude, who wants that phone call at midnight? Hey, dude, I'm Blotto. Can you come give me a ride home?
But at least, there's a lot of the cab services, or there's a lot of bars these days. I mean, they'll buy you a cab home.
Correct.
I mean, that's a cool thing.
Correct.
My brother Kevin, who's 10 months younger than me, he wanted to open up a beer bar there in Edna, Texas, and one came available. And he said, hey, man, Steve, what about buying this thing? And I'll run it. And, because I always wanted to be in the bar business or have a place where people could have a few drinks. But because of the dynamics that exist with all the drinking and stuff these days, it's like, man, that's a business. I want to be in the beer business, been working on a beer.
Right.
But I want to have that place to serve, because really, when you think about it, I mean, and if a dude goes into a bar, and let's just say he's drinking Bud Light, that's probably 4.5% alcohol. I mean, you serve that dude, man, 4 Bud Lights, you really got to cut him off.
Correct.
I mean, he makes 120 to 240, but 4 beers is, because theoretically they say a beer an hour or whatever the damn.
Yeah, dude. And if you're not selling food, how are you making revenue if you've got a limit?
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Got an idea here?
And go ahead.
Titty bar.
But yeah, and so you get the 240-pound roughneck who's worked his balls off for the last 2 weeks and gets a little dough in his pocket, wants to go out and have a few pops, correct, and you say, oh, by the way, we got to cut you off at 4.
Yeah.
Don't think he's going to come back and he's not going to be real happy.
No, and he's not going to bring his friends either.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? It's too dangerous to drink and drive anymore.
It is. Now, again, back in the day, in the business of pro wrestling, shit. And I go back, and this is many years ago. This is not a reflection of how WWE operates these days. But back in the day when we filmed that one, I think it was the Austin 316 video. I mean, we were driving, we were working a shot. I think we started that video off. I was driving a Ford F-150, driving from Jacksonville to somewhere. It was about a 200-mile drive. We filmed the whole way, had the lights going on in the cab of the truck. I was running 80 to 90 miles an hour, depending on where we were. And there I was drinking natural ice, I believe, and we was filming a video.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the business was. And quite honestly, that's the way I was living back then.
Correct.
And once again, we'll move on to another question. I want to beat a dead horse. Don't drink and drive, people. It's the dumbest thing you could ever do. As he takes a sip of his triple margarita. Hallelujah. Let's move on to the next question. Swig of margarita for the working man. Happy New Year, everybody. Here we go. No horseshoes here at the BSR. I ain't got time for that shit. Hey, Steve, give me a motivation promo with a little trash talking to stay on my diet. Everything, even the kitchen sink. Also, Teddy Fowler, too, to cut a promo. Sincerely, Darius. Well, this is the Unleashed show. And, Darius, you having a hard time stay on your diet. Teddy, you got any advice for a brother?
Dude, take your shirt off, stand in front of the mirror. I mean, if you don't want to look like a piece of shit, eat the right stuff and work out.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. The mirror's out here, Teddy. Man, there's something fucked up about it.
They're funhouse mirrors.
Damn. I look pretty decent in these mirrors. All of a sudden, I get back to Marina Del Rey. I'm like, what in the flying fuck happened? Son of a bitch. So, Darius, hang on.
Take it all. I know you'll do it again. Babe, break me again. I'll take the fall. I know you'll do it again.
Goddamn, Teddy, little House of Doom. Hangover music from Black Label Society. Darius, you sorry motherfucker. Let me read your question again. You little trash talking to stay on your diet through everything but the kitchen sink. Now, goddamn, there's so many of these people who have sent in these diet emails about having a hard time sticking with the diet. Hell, even my sorry fat ass is having a hard time being on the diet because right now it's the holiday season. And we went through Thanksgiving, rolled into Christmas. All the relatives are down. Of course, now I'm going to drink on New Year's Eve to get my buzz on to start the new year. But goddamn, dude, discipline. Like Teddy said, get your stupid ass in front of a mirror and look at yourself. Take some pictures with your smartphone or whatever you got and mark the calendars and see what you look like when you get on that damn program with some, get on the right protocol, get your goddamn macros dialed in by someone that can help you out. Take the pictures and start noting the progress or lack of progress you're making. And if you're accountable for the calories that you're putting into your body and taking note of how often you're in the gym, doing your body parts, doing your cardio, you can make adjustments so you can get your ass in shape. So I don't want to make this just a profanity-laced promo just to cuss because I can. I really want to help you out. So take a couple pictures of yourself, get in front of the damn mirror, and stick to a protocol. And remember, man, consistency is key. I am living proof that you can out-train a shitty diet. Me and Teddy Fowler been out here, been on a little bit different work schedule right now because I had to go back to L.A. for about a week. Had some family problems with my mother-in-law, and we got all that straightened out. Didn't touch a weight for a week. Ate like shit, so I'm still trying to get back on track. I'm living proof of not being able to out-train a shitty diet. And, man, for all the hard work that I do, sometimes it seems like I'm spinning my wheels. So get your shit right. Be accountable for your food. Log in all your food. It's so simple and it's so easy, and it doesn't take too much time to write down every single thing you eat every single day. And do that for a couple of weeks, and you get a chance to see exactly what you're taking in. Take out the garbage, but take note of the garbage and see what you're drinking. Add all that shit up and look at your physical activity. There's a smart way to do things, and that's a roundabout redneck approach that I'm giving you. But it don't take a rocket scientist, and you ain't got to necessarily hire some high-powered cat to come in and do all these things for you. But think for yourself. But use some pictures as your motivation, and tape those things up to your mirror in your bathroom where you normally use the same light all the time. So, you know, Teddy, I got a room in my house. I can go in there, and it's pretty good lighting. All of a sudden, it looks like I got a couple of abs. Chest looks pretty good. Delt's kind of capped off.
Right.
But then when I get back in that other light, I can actually see that, you know, I really look like shit. So any more advice for old Darius before we move on?
Man, you gave me the best advice about working out, you know, because I've got all of the weight equipment at my house, and I also belong to the gym. And you said, man, if you can't go to the gym and get in a full workout, at least do something, you know, a little bit of something. Stay with it, because that whole – I didn't get to the gym today, I'll go tomorrow. You know, that is your most of the time that's everybody's Achilles heel, because you never go. You know, get home late from work, tired as hell. Man, 20 minutes. Bust your ass for 20 minutes. Just do something.
And that one thing leads to another, especially when you start missing those workouts. They just kind of seem to start lining up, and you're skipping more and more. These last few days, man, I came in, and by the time me and Teddy get up, do our morning hunt, do the different work things that we're both working on out here at the ranch, go do the second hunt, because don't just think we're lollygagging around with the hunting. We're trying to take X amount of animals to manage the herd out here. So then I would come back, and I would go through a full-body workout.
Correct.
Damn near every day in a row. Missed last night because we had more guests over, and I'm having a margarita today, so I ain't going to work out today. But
see, I'll work
to your
out this
point,
evening.
What I was doing was every single time I'd come in, just to make sure that I didn't miss my workout, I would do something.
Correct.
Something is always better than nothing. All right. Hey, Steve, you, a Wonder Dog and a Range Rover, home from filming a show a few months back, and you referenced having 30 and 70-pound dumbbells rolling around in the back of your vehicle. Can you explain this on-the-road workout for your listeners? Thanks, Patrick in Cleveland. Well, Patrick, what that was when I was filming Broken Skull Challenge in Agua Dulce this past season for Season 2, and the season premiere of that show is on January 4th on CMT. Don't forget to set your DVRs and watch that. It's a badass season, man. We really raised the bar on the Broken Skull Challenge this year. But basically what that was, I had some 30, 50, and 70-pound dumbbells that are mine, and I'd already taken the 50s home, so this was the last day, and I was getting out of the camper that they rent for me. I had a power rack out there. I had about 400 pounds of an Olympic bar with plates, and I had my 30, 50, and 70-pound dumbbells. So it's not like a rolling workout that I do in my vehicle. This was just my personal gym equipment that I have, and I take on locations when I'm filming on the Los Angeles or in and around the Los Angeles area. Now, these days, hell, there's a lot of these the guys are a lot higher up on the totem pole than myself. You know, guys like Will Smith, The Rock, man, they'll get these big 45-foot vans that they're pulling around, you know, with an 18-wheeler. It's basically what it is. And it's basically, you know, however they want the gym configured in there, that's on the location. And some of these guys, you know, too busy, you know, filming the big blockbuster movies to get to the gym. Man, they got the gym right there on the set. Hell, when I was filming Grown-Ups 2 with Adam Sandler, they had one of these on set. Now, I didn't get a chance to visit the gym because I really didn't have that big of a part, but yeah, all the big wigs got these. But me, rolling on the redneck dime, carry all my shit myself, and I get them to supply me a power rack. It's a pretty damn affordable setup. They had me a tent. The tent blew down because the wind was so high out there at the Broken Skull Challenge. It's tough conditions. But that's what was going on when I had those dumbbells rolling around in the back of my car. I was heading back to the house. Filming was over, and you can catch the Broken Skull Challenge January 4th on CMT. Hey, I'm going to take a little pause for the cause. I'm coming right back with Ted Fowler 361 on Twitter. My buddy out here, we're fixing to go out here in a deer stand. We're talking about New Year's resolutions, shooting and shit, highs and lows, and getting my ass kicked in darts. This is bullshit. We're coming right back.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Do you own a home or condo? Or perhaps you rent a house or apartment? Sure you do. And Geico knows it can be hard work. Because whether you own or rent, you still have to fill it full of your stuff. Your furniture, the flat screen, and all the boxes of stuff that have been sitting there ever since you moved in, but haven't unpacked. It's hard to find the time, right? But you know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowner's or renter's insurance along with your auto policy. That way, you'll rest easy knowing that your home and all your stuff is protected. Like the furniture and that flat screen. Plus, getting a quote on homeowners and renters insurance is super easy through Geico. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. You know, like going through all those boxes of stuff. Visit geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Steve Austin. Unleashed.
All right, everybody coming back from a break. It's a New Year's resolution show. There's a lot of stories in here. We're just sitting there shooting the shit, drinking a margarita. Ted Fowler's still drinking a cup of coffee. He's going one way. I'm going the other. Hell, I'm going straight to hell. I'm on a highway to hell, as AC/DC was saying. Let me see if I can pull that up on my little redneck sound system here. We've been playing some tunes from Zakk Wylde and Black Label Society. I don't know if I have permission to use these tunes or not, but since Zakk is a close personal friend, I don't think he'll give a flying fuck. And I've only played about 30 or 40 seconds of each song, so I think you got to play more than that to get an actual lawsuit or file a complaint. And the fact that this is just a podcast done by a global icon and a national treasure that no one really listens to, I don't think they'll sue me. I'm kidding. This podcast is an award-winning podcast which is heard all over the globe. Thanks to you, the listeners, man. I'm getting emails in from every country in the world, and I appreciate you guys spreading the word by telling a few of your friends and family about it because, as I always say at the end of the show, we ain't got no advertising budget, so if you dig the show, tell a motherfucker about it and help a brother out. Hey, Teddy, here we go. Got somebody talking about my damn neck. Steve, after all the history with your neck, were you ever worried about taking certain moves like a German suplex? I ask this because it looks like it could be risky to take, plus a few wrestlers who have had neck injuries from this move. Even after all you went through with your neck injury, you were still taking German suplexes from guys like Angle and Benoit. Anyway, thanks for all the hard work in the ring and nowadays on your podcast. Simon. Man, I tell you what, Simon, I remember that match. It was, I think it was in Edmonton. It was Chris Benoit's hometown. And I saw that match. I didn't see Chris making a full comeback on me. I saw him stringing 10 of those German suplexes together on me for his comeback. That's what made sense. That was my idea. And so I was willing to take them. Now, a couple of them hurt a little bit, but, again, my neck was in solid condition. I'd had the surgery. It was fine now, so I wasn't doing anything that I didn't need to do. Certainly wasn't going to do a pile driver or do something like that. But, yeah, man, working with a guy like Angle, working with a guy like Benoit, two guys that are such badass technicians, and you put your full trust in those guys, and they're always going to treat you like gold. So it worked for the match. I took them when I felt they were needed or would work, and I took them from people that I could trust. And, man, the business of pro wrestling ain't ballet. But when you're working with two guys as badass as that, pretty much anything goes. Here's one. This is from a dude named Old Goatface, Teddy. He's from the Bronx. He says he's a lifelong fan. He'd like to start my year off in a kick-ass way if you could cut a promo on me about smoking. I've tried a bunch of times to quit, but the addiction always wins. Go ahead and rip this Yankee bastard a new one and save my life. Happy New Year to you and your family. Keep up the tremendous work. I'll catch your ass down the road. Goatface from the Bronx. #word. Goatface. You ain't going to be catching my ass down the road. You keep sucking on them cigarettes. Now, here's the thing. I'm sitting right across the table from a man that used to smoke, 3 packs of cigarettes a day. Now, when I met Teddy, thought you didn't smoke back then.
Yeah, I just didn't smoke around you.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you sorry,
No, because I knew you didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you quit?
Man, we've known each other for, 8, 9 years?
Yeah.
I probably quit 6 years ago.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
You're the man that used to smoke 3 packs a day.
Yeah.
What did you do to quit smoking 3 packs a day? That's a healthy habit.
Man,
That's a healthy dose of a bad habit.
Yeah, no, I was running through them pretty good.
Why?
Why did I smoke so much?
Yeah.
Man, I just liked it. And I'm that kind of addictive personality. I always, like out here, I always got to be doing something. I'm easily bored, and it was just, being in the construction business, being on the job site, that was normal. It felt like what I should be doing. I mean, I would wake up in the middle of the night, go sit outside on the porch, smoke a couple of cigarettes, come back and go to bed. Get up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, go outside, smoke 2, 3 cigarettes before I even went in and took a shower. It just seemed like the thing to do. And you're rolling through 60 of them a day, 3 packs. That's a real deal. And I was smoking Camels, too. It wasn't them frilly, Virginia Slims or them little wispy, they had some hair to them. You know what the epiphany was, I came home to Rockport and decided I wanted to get into shape. And I would, start jogging. That was my big, thought process. I ran about 46 feet, and I couldn't breathe, and I'm coughing, and I'm like, God damn, man, you are kidding me. Early 40s,
And you played a shit pile of softball.
And I played softball.
Athletic.
Dude, I'd go in the outfield playing softball. I'd stand out there and smoke a cigarette. Yeah, you talk about classy. Boy, would my parents be proud of me,
You're talking Bad News Bears adult version.
Which one's your kid? Oh, these guy out there with a cigarette, Damn. Yeah, no, and I couldn't, I couldn't.
Now, come on, no, before you continue the story, please tell me you did just to drop your butt on the ground, mash it in with the toe of your foot, and keep playing softball.
I'll tell you another. Yeah.
You sorry motherfucker.
See, I was smoking back in Arizona hardcore, and I can remember playing softball in Scottsdale. We had an old umpire. His name was Gil. Solid guy. He chewed plug tobacco, and I mean a boatload of it. Had it all over his face, all over his shirt, just one of those kind of, like a farm guy.
Yeah.
I'm playing second base. He's the infield umpire, and he calls a halt to the game because I'm standing out there at second base, and I'm smoking a cigarette. And he's like, he walks over to me, he goes, "Dude, are you shitting me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, you're really coming out here with a cigarette in your hand. I took a big drag off it, flicked it on the ground, and stepped on it. And I said, "There you go, let's play ball." Yeah, no, you talk
Dude,
about
what did your teammates think about that shit?
Dude, I was, they didn't.
Where were you back then in your head? I mean, so what was the story? Were you mad at somebody?
I was mad at the
cigarette
world.
On second base. Come on, man.
Dude, I was mad at the
You're
world.
Smarter than that.
Dude,
okay.
I was playing infield. I wasn't running, so I was just.
Well, I know. What were you so mad at?
No, just mad at the world. Post-divorce, one of those type of deals. Drinking to, try to solve all of my problems or at least drown them. And, it's just it's an addiction, man. I mean, and it's easy to get caught up in all of that stuff.
Okay, and it was. You smoked three packs.
Man,
so now, when I chewed tobacco for going on 25-plus years, started with chewing tobacco, started receding my gum a little bit. So me being the smart guy, forward thinking that I am, figured I'd go to Skoal in Copenhagen and use the front of my lips and start dipping, which I did for 5 to 6, 7 years, whatever. My dad had issues, and so that was my come to Jesus meeting. I stopped cold turkey once, but because it was such an addiction and I enjoyed it so much, I started again. And there's certain, just like you said, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd put a dip in, or as soon as it was so ingrained with the certain activities that I did, getting here at the ranch, getting my Bronco, put a dip in, make a lap.
After a meal,
put in a dip.
Yep.
But I just quit cold turkey and I walked away. And it was 4 days of complete misery. And that's all it was for me was 4 days. But then I still had the longings for it when the activities that I was used to dipping came around. But you specifically, so we can answer Goatface's question, what did you do to stop smoking?
I just stopped. Like you, I went cold turkey, and it sucked for about 2 weeks, man, because I was... I was a big fan of Zippo lighters. Yeah. So I had Flints and Zippo fuel because
it's the whole culture.
Yeah.
Process.
I mean, it was cool.
Back in the old days of chopping up a line of cocaine.
Yeah.
One thing to snort the rail, it's just doing it all up.
Yeah. But I would come across that stuff and think, God damn, I'd really like to have a cigarette. And it was miserable, and I was eating sunflower seeds and candy and stuff like that just to keep myself from smoking. 2 weeks later, once I'd fought all those cravings, then it was a can of corn, and then you start looking at it like, man, a pack of cigarettes back in the day, was like $4, when I was buying them. But I'd go in and buy 3 cartons of cigarettes at a time, put a couple of cartons in the freezer, so shit, I'd go to the tobacco store and, spend $200, buying cigarettes and,
Was it always the Camels?
Yeah, that was...
So you was a man's man. You had to smoke a macho cigarette.
Oh, you betcha.
If you was going to get cancer, God damn it, you're going to get it smoking the toughest cigarette you could smoke.
That's it. Yeah. They'll put that on my headstone. Yeah, perfect. No, man, I just it's like going to the gym. You know what I mean? You dedicate yourself to following through to a, if nothing else, a healthier lifestyle, and just stick with it, man. But
tell me about those. You said 10 days of misery?
Correct.
Okay, so for me it was 4, and I would go to the gym. This is when I was training at Gold's Gym in Venice. And, man, dude, you could literally, a second would go click.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's how slow a second lasted. I mean, I'd go in there and I'd get through maybe 3 sets of something and just walk out of the gym because I was distracted, couldn't focus, didn't want to do anything. Time goes to a standstill damn near, and I'm a time fanatic and a little bit and ADD. So it was just miserable for me, and I was very grouchy and almost couldn't even think straight. Now, obviously, I functioned, did all the shit I had to. I'm a grown man. I got to do what I got to do. Correct. That's how tough it was for me. So the 10 days, and then
Yeah, 10 days, and then it was good to go. Good to go. You know, quit carrying my lighter because during
everybody and anybody can quit smoking, Teddy, if you want to. Or like to the people that dip and chew tobacco, man, my advice to you right now, if you've been thinking about quitting, I've talked about this many times on the podcast. If you got a tobacco habit, whether it's smokeless, using them goddamn cigarettes, or now those e-cigarettes, all that shit. And if that's what you want to do for the rest of your life, more power to you, because I ain't judging nobody. I've done some stupid shit in my life, learned a lot from it, and many times it took several times to learn what the fuck was going on in life. But here, as I sit and was lucky enough to make my 50th birthday about a goddamn week ago, I can tell you about some of my trials and tribulations that I will. And tobacco being one of them. Hey, man, it's time to quit, and it's time to quit now. And all you got to do is make the decision to quit and then say there is no alternative. There's going to be only one plan, only one solution, and you have to execute. And it's giving up.
Don't put a date on it. Don't say, on my birthday or on this holiday or something. Don't give yourself a date. And don't say...
Because that's that window to continue.
Yeah, and don't say, as soon as I finish this pack... That'll be the last one I buy because I'll be go to hell. You'll be drinking. You'll be down to your last 2 or 3. Well, shit, you can't stop now because you're half drunk. You better go buy another. You know what I mean? You'll have an epiphany and say, I want to quit smoking. Not, because it's the new year, because, my friends and family want me to. You'll wake up and decide that you don't want to smoke anymore, and then you'll do it, and you'll stick to it.
Anything else you have a hard time quitting, Teddy? You never was into any kind of other things, was you?
No, man, I didn't drugs.
Yeah.
Nah, well, I like Coke.
Well, that was back in the day. I mean,
and I like Coke now. I have Jack Daniels.
Different kind of Coke.
Yeah.
No, back in my days in the business of pro wrestling, I had the odd rail here too, but I never was, one of those guys who was going to stay up for a week. I mean, I was just hey man, someone's got some shit, or I had a dime bag or something like that. But no, I was just never on to anything.
I drank. That was my thing.
When I get on, when I really have a project that's fixing to start and I have a drop dead date where I must be in shape, well, then I do, completely shit can beer and whiskey. But, I like having my glass of wine, every night before I go to sleep, or a couple of IPAs. But again, right now, kind of doing the workout thing, but maintaining. But I'll put a hard date here. As soon as I get this thing wrapped up in a week, that's when I'll dial in and go to the task at hand. Anyway, let's move on, Teddy.
All right.
Enough about all that horse shit. Hey, Steve, I love the podcast, and you have one of the best wrestling podcasts out there, but what is your New Year's resolution to make the podcast better? And this is from Mushkin over in Houston, Texas. Well, Mushkin, what I am doing right now is hiring 15 to 20 of some of the foremost researchers and scientists on planet Earth to research all the topics at hand, which I will go into discussion in depth about and provide solid, hardcore, serious scientific evidence to back up every word I say on this podcast, and to reach out to some of the most groundbreaking, earth-moving people on the planet, to bring them to this podcast to share their wealth of wisdom and their knowledge and experience from some of the roads that they have been down. Also, keeping you in mind with the financial happenings and where you should invest your money, what the trends are, where things are going from a technology front, uncovering, delving deep in... who am I bullshitting, Teddy?
Let me go out and get my rubber boots.
Mushkin, this is a motherfucking podcast. This is the unleashed version. It's a Steve Austin show. My job here is to entertain you, man. I tell you what, I don't really like to go into politics or religion. Those are two very divisive subjects, and people will believe what they're going to believe, and I ain't going to try to tell nobody any different. It's like Ford, Chevy, Dodge. They all make a good pickup. My show is about entertainment, like me and Teddy sitting here trying to talk about me quitting smokeless tobacco, him quitting cigarettes, dropping down some lighthearted 411 advice, and all this is lighthearted stuff, but it's serious and it's to a point. But, man, my job here with this show is just to entertain your ass, and if I can keep doing that, here's the thing about my podcast. I do this, and this podcast is a reflection of my brain and how my thought process works. I don't plan anything in advance. Man, all of a sudden I show up over here and I say, hey, Teddy, we got to do a podcast. Or I call someone on the phone and talk to them the same day.
Correct.
Correct. Or if it's someone that, there's a lot of research to be done, I'll do all that research, but it fits in with all the other projects that I do. So it is what it is. It ain't rocket scientists. I just want to be able to use this thing with all the bullshit that people have going on in their lives, to be able to give you something to occupy your time while you're driving to work, coming from work, where you're at work, or just chilling and sitting there drinking a damn beer. It's just entertainment, and that's the bottom line. Teddy, you listen to a couple of podcasts, don't you?
Just yours. I tried to listen to some.
Okay, we won't mention any names.
Yeah.
Now, what are you looking for in a podcast?
Entertainment value. Yeah, I want to be entertained. I listen to the radio for music. I listen to the podcast to laugh, to cut up. And then depends on who the guest is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you're a pro wrestling fan. You dig.
Yes, sir.
You dig listen to a lot of the people from the pro wrestling world.
Do you answer honestly, or you want me to lie?
No. No. Well, yeah, I want an honest answer.
I'll tell you what. I like the concept, of the wrestlers talking.
Right.
I haven't found another podcast, and I'm not,
No, I'm talking about my show specifically.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were talking about the other people.
No. I just, what you like about this show.
No, I like hearing from the other wrestlers.
Yeah.
I like getting that input. As a wrestling fan, getting that. I still think about that one you did with Ric Flair.
That was fun.
Yeah.
The thing about that is, man, Teddy, when I went to his hotel room, it was SummerSlam, and, man, when you're sitting there hanging out with the Nature Boy Ric Flair and you just got a microphone rolling, shooting the shit, that's a fun time. And been really wanting to sit down and talk to Bret, the Hitman Hart, in depth. I want to talk to Kevin Von Erich in depth. But he's over in Hawaii, and we've been trading direct messages on Twitter. But, man, it's fun to talk to all the guys because, man, I'm a wrestling fan, and I have so much respect for some of the guys that I talk to, the careers that they've had. But, man, when you can talk one-on-one with them, that's the best. But the way things work out, I mean, you can't always do that. So the phone does have to facilitate a lot of that.
I'll tell you, another hook for the whole podcast deal is there is a tremendous amount of candor that those guys show, when they're talking to you, rather than just giving an interview. In Tulsa there, and the show was, Big Show was relaying some of those stories.
Yeah.
It's all the guys standing around laughing their ass off, and he's laughing while he's telling them, and that is comedic genius right there, because he doesn't have to be, politically correct. And that is what makes the podcast as good as it is.
And Big Show's one of the funniest guys in the history of the business.
Oh, dude, that cat was funny.
I mean, all of a sudden, man, you roll up on a guy who's 7 feet 1 or 2 or whatever he is, and 500 pounds, and he was in really good shape.
Yeah.
Big Show right now is in tremendous shape. All of a sudden, you shake hands with that big motherfucker's hand. It's like, dude, you got a pretty good set of mitts, but all of a sudden you're shaking a Big Show's hand. That's a whole different ballgame, mister.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't have to look up at many people, but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that he was telling that story that one time when I lit his ass up because he pulled my trunks up my ass.
Correct.
And he threw me back in that corner. Kind of, you could feel the power that big mastodon son of a bitch can generate. It's pretty impressive, but a funny guy.
Yeah.
You'd never figure a guy like that would be as quick-witted and as funny as he is.
No, not at all.
Big Show. When you get tired of pro wrestling, you ought to do a podcast, you funny motherfucker. Let's move on down the road, Teddy. It's almost time to wrap this thing up. Well, what we're going to do out of this, Teddy, is we're going to make this a 2-part deal because we're going to come back and do another hour of questions. I like to keep these podcasts right about that hour mark. We'll answer a couple more questions, but I got a lot more emails sent here, so we'll do a part 2, and we'll probably play it on the next Thursday, or we'll do a family-friendly version to facilitate next Tuesday. I haven't decided that yet, but that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
So, but man, let me describe the conditions to you outside. Right now, it's overcast. Teddy, what's the temperature out there?
Man, I would say high 40s at best.
High 40s at best. The deer are going to be moving, and, man, is there a particular deer you're hunting? You just shot a killer.
No, I just shot that one.
The 9 point you took yesterday, That deer scored 141.5. He had a 20-inch inside spread and had 36 inches of mass. Now, that's a damn good cull buck.
Correct.
I mean, that's a trophy.
Correct.
To damn near anybody that hunts, but that's a great management buck here on the Broken Skull Ranch.
You know what?
Is it not?
No, and that's exactly what we said when you saw him on a photograph. It was like, man, that's a pretty good deer.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him landing on the ground, I was like, man, I'm kind of, it's kind of a little bit of a letdown. And then when I walked up and I put my hands on him, I was like, oh man, he's better than what I thought.
Oh yeah.
But there's not a specific deer now that I'm hunting, but there's a couple of deer that need to go. And, if the relatives can't, hold up their end of the bargain, one of the two of us will put them down.
Well, and with that being said, why not this?
Imagine a dirt road full of potholes with a creek bank and some cane poles catching channel cat. I'm a little more country than that. Picture a small town with an old hound laying out front of the courthouse while the old men chew the fat. I'm a little more country than that.
God damn it, Teddy, that's Easton Corbin. Now, I know you're not a big country music fan, but tell me you cannot get into that shit right
Actually,
there.
I like country music, believe it or not. Not the faster. I mean, the stuff you can two-step too slow.
Easton Corbin is the guy right there.
Yeah,
and I don't know why that guy don't get a bigger push than what he gets.
Dude, that's some
the
belly.
Singing son of a bitch. He goes up there, stands on stage, and just sings good country music. And a lot of times you listen to country music radio, all of a sudden you think, damn, George Strait's got a new song. Well, it ain't George Strait. It happens to be a guy named Easton Corbin.
Dude, that's who I thought it was at first.
I know.
Yeah.
But, God dang, man, going back to George Strait, me and Kristen was at the house the other day, and we, on CMT, they always play that Cowboy Rides Away tour, the last concert that we went to at Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, whatever the fuck stadium it's called. We were there with 105,000 other people. And, man, George was on fire. He sounded like $1 million, and all those people that he invited to come out there and sing the duets with him. It was unbelievable. And so, because George is my all-time number one favorite. And, they've got the flavor of the day, and they've got some talented people over there, and country's turning more pop. Every time you turn around the corner, it's just more and more pop. This is a guy that just stands up there and sings good country music. Man, so I don't know why the guy can't get a better break than he's getting.
Man, we get into, how everything has changed, how musical taste from an executive standpoint, what they see as marketable.
But yeah, what they can sell. What's the,
Where's this guy's flash? I mean, what?
Hey, man, to me, dang, well, here's the thing, and going back, and this is not a great parallel. It's not a great analogy. But when I was coming up in the ranks, and after 7.5 years, I was an overnight sensation, and when I look back, if I had to put myself in a lineup with all the other WWE superstars or WCW superstars when I had just that long, stringy blonde hair, I'd see a guy that kind of had a wrestling kind of body, but had on body, I would give myself, shit, man, a 6.5. Compared to everybody else.
Right.
Hair, from what it was, a 4, maybe a 5, I don't know. And then, now wrestling ability in the ring, once you got going, that was what, come on in, Jeff. My brother Jeff's just coming in here. But, finally I put together the right gimmick. Sit down, Jeff. And so it was all about finding the right gimmick in the presentation and shaving the hair off and coming up with a Stone Cold gimmick. But I figure Easton Corbin, if you can sing, good-looking kid. I like Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks was phenomenal. Now, he put on a fucking show. Running around the stage, that big-ass backdrop that he had doing all that stuff, that was great. But George Strait or Merle Haggard or Possum, George Jones, standing up there just singing good country music, dude, I'd pay a ticket to see that all day long and buy those albums.
Well, that's the difference between you and me. I don't go to concerts.
Well, and I've only been to a few concerts, but I'm just talking about just buying and engaging in the music. You gonna go pop on me?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying, You are a huge fan of those guys. I get the same, or not the same. I get a kick out of hearing them on the radio. That's as far as I need to go with that. Right. Even the bands that I really like, I wouldn't go see them in concert because.
Okay, but I'm talking about the music. So, what's going to attract you? We just played a little bit of Easton Corbin.
I like that,
right.
And I would download that music to listen to. But I wouldn't, But that's just me. I wouldn't pay to go to a show.
But again, we're just talking about the marketing and getting more radio play.
Outside of his music, what do you know about the guy? I got no idea what he looks like. I haven't,
but now you're just talking about downloads. Based on what you heard, you would download his music. I'm sitting there, my damn younger brother Jeff just rolled into the show over here, sitting around with his thumb up his ass. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
My brother Jeff lives in the gate. Ted, hand Jeff your microphone there for a while. My brother Jeff moved to Kodiak, Alaska a couple of years ago. Jeff, you're a carpenter by trade. Right?
Yeah.
And you sing a little bit of country music.
Yes, I did.
Did you bring your guitar?
Yes, I did.
You're going to break it out tonight and sing a few songs? I was going to call it earlier tonight tonight, but if you're going to sing a couple country songs, then I will stay up and listen to them.
Hell yeah.
We're talking country music. Now, what are some of your favorite artists, and what draws you to the new country sound, or what's the sound you're looking for on the radio today?
Well, new country music to me just doesn't do it for me. I mean, I'm old school, like you mentioned earlier, Merle Haggard's.
George Jones, Conway Twitty, Keith Whitley.
Really, new artists. I don't even know who's. I mean, I know who they are, but I don't get into them, listen to them. The Eastern Corbin guy, I've heard a few of his songs, but I don't really follow him. But he's probably not doing much anyway. As far as because he's not. It's all pop now. New country is all it's all going popish to me, man. It's just not country.
Okay, so then you're out there in Kodiak, Alaska. You're out there on the job site. You listening to headphones, or what do you listen to in your truck when you drive back and forth to work?
They got 2 radio stations in Kodiak, so
But what are they?
Well, country music, yeah. And there's one station that plays a little more classic stuff, and the other one that plays all new stuff. So I listen to the one that plays the classic stuff.
Okay, so you wrote a couple songs, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to sing those tonight?
Yeah, can.
What if I record a couple of them songs and we play them on the podcast?
Shit, yeah.
Shit, I might break out a new goddamn superstar here at the Broken Skull Ranch.
My music's kind of catered towards the Texas music movement.
Explain to me the Texas country movement.
Well, the Texas movement, it's probably been going on since about 99 or 2000, somewhere around there. As guys, some of them are from Oklahoma, a lot of them are from Texas, and it's kind of a throwback to the original honky tonk, hell raising, guys like Willie, and that's where a lot of these people's influences are from. And it's not really country, it's not really rock and roll. It's kind of somewhere in between, say like a Leonard Skinner type stuff like that. That's kind of the music that they play, and they don't cater to Nashville. Nashville won't even touch the guys. They're just kind of on their own, doing their own deal.
But a lot of those guys make a damn good living on that Texas scene.
Oh, hell yeah. Shit, yeah. You got like one of my favorites back in the day was Cross Canadian Ragweed, and
dude, I remember they was hot when I just bought this ranch 8 years ago. What happened to them?
Well, the leader, Cody Canada, went out on his own now. He's got him a new band, Cody Canada and the Departed. And
where did they depart from?
I don't know.
See what I did there?
Well,
Canada.
They departed from 3 other members of Cross Canadian Ragweed. That's what they did. He brought the bass player, Jeremy Plato, who was a bad son of a bitch.
Right.
He brought him along and got rid of the other guys. And what he was trying to do actually was kind of advance his music. 'Cause with Cross Canadian Ragweed, Cody Canada was a great songwriter. He wrote all the songs, played the rhythm guitar and lead. He wasn't the best lead player in the world, so when he formed the Departed, he hired him a legit lead guitar player. That's your job. You just do, cut up and do that.
Let him focus a little bit on filling the gap and doing the lead vocals,
and then just work on singing. Just concentrate on singing and playing rhythm. And I've heard a couple of their tracks, and they're pretty good. And
what do they need? Can they break out and become a major attraction?
Well, as far as Texas,
this has been a PodcastOne production.
They are.
Download new episodes of the Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Okay. Okay, what's your take on Jamie Johnson? Because I don't get the feeling that Jamie Johnson is particularly enamored with Nashville. And there's a guy that's a great songwriter, wrote a lot of songs for George Strait, and he writes great songs for himself. And I love his voice. He's one of Kristen's favorites. So where's that guy? Because he's almost like in that outlaw mode, but almost like the outlaw mode from back in the Wayland days ain't particularly cool these days.
Right.
Because Nashville ain't going to put up with your ass.
Exactly.
So what does he do? Just keep doing what he's doing?
Really, I haven't really seen much of him since.
But do you like his music?
Hits. Yeah, some of it. I mean, there's only a few songs that I know that he's ever put out. I haven't heard anything much from him lately.
Okay, who else you listen to? Well, whatever happened to the Pat Green guy?
He was one that kind of sort of crossed over into Nashville.
He sort of crossed over, but then you didn't hear from him again. And he was big on the Texas scene that you're talking about.
Yeah, he was like one of the first.
He was the first one.
Names.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. I saw him about 4 years ago in Houston at the fireworks. They got the big fireworks extravaganza downtown. They usually have a couple big bands, and he was one of them. He was pretty good, but his style kind of changed. I think when he a lot of people think he sold out.
Exactly. Well, you
went more Nashville,
right? And I mean, it was almost as Stone Cold. I didn't sell out, but I had to modify a little bit of what I was doing, especially when I turned babyface. So you're trying to do, but you got to do it within and staying true to yourself. And so I was able to do that, and I don't never. But that's a decent analogy. Here's a dude. Let me ask you about it before we wrap this podcast up, and we'll come back tonight and sit there and shoot the breeze as you play guitar with Teddy Fowler and me listening on. Tracy Byrd. I saw Tracy Byrd in Topeka, Kansas a long time ago. We were doing a ticket on sale for an event that we were going to have over there. And, man, that motherfucker played for 3 hours straight. It was live. It was a place it was probably about 3,000 to 5,000 people. It was like a big-ass dance hall. And that perfect reverb sound going. And he was on fire and never took a break. It was one of the best concerts I've ever heard in my life. What happened to Tracy Byrd? Why did he fall off the damn music scene? And did you dig his music?
Oh, yeah.
That motherfucker was bad.
It's like him and Clint Black and there's a couple more out there.
Mark Chestnut.
Daryl
Singletary. Yeah. Hell, I saw Daryl Singletary in Nashville 4 months ago when I was doing something for Redneck Island, whatever the fuck it was, the CMT Music Awards. Went and saw Daryl Singletary. Daryl Singletary can still sing better than 90% of the people in Nashville, but brother can't catch a break these days because he's 40 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, and those guys, I don't know if it's because if you don't write your own music, if you have songwriters who write your own music, and all of a sudden you're not marketable on the radio, well, maybe you can't get any material to do, because they want to pitch their songs to people that's going to get radio play. Because that means more money for them.
Right, and that's one of the things I always liked about Merle Haggard, because Merle Haggard wrote 99% of his music.
Definitely.
Yeah, so he was. I mean, he could facilitate his own needs.
Yeah. And that's like every Texas music artist that's out there. They write all their own shit.
The Tractor Guy is pulling away. We've been talking on this podcast with an hour and 18 minutes. Some of this will make air. We're going to come back with part 2. I'm talking with Ted Fowler, 361, my brother. Jeff Williams rolled in from Kodiak, Alaska. We're going to roll sound tonight out here at the Broken Skull Ranch and record some of Jeff singing, me and Teddy shooting the shit, answering a few more of your questions. Teddy Fowler, to the man that smokes cigarettes, it's all about New Year's resolutions. Bottom line on the cigarettes, Teddy.
Man, you'll quit when you want to quit, and when you decide to quit, stick with it. Just don't buy any more and don't smoke anymore.
Coming from the man who used to use Skoal and a lot of chewing tobacco, man, I just said, hey, man, enough's enough. Jeff, you didn't ever get into chewing or dipping or nothing, did you? You smoked cigarettes for a little bit.
I smoked cigarettes for a long time.
Get on that microphone. So so you smoked for how long?
Shit. 20-something years, probably.
You sorry, motherfucker. I didn't know you smoking that long. I'm about to put my foot in your ass. We're sitting in a deer stand together. I hope we don't have an accident.
It was always kind of off and on. It wasn't like chain smoking a pack a day and all that shit.
Well, let me ask you something, because you were singing,
drinking beer and you puff on a few cigarettes. That's
but you were singing in a lot of bars, I mean, you were making rounds with some of your buddies when you lived out in the Santa Fe, Houston area, Galveston, playing gigs. Did you feel cool like a country western star, or was it just something to do to blend in? What was it?
No, it's some kind of just.
Is it a bonding thing?
I don't know what it is, man.
Just what you do. But it was like for Teddy, it was occupying time. It was, and me speaking for like when me and the guys would go to the arenas and just hang out, it was something that you did, just spitting in a cup. As dumb as that sounds, gives you something to do. And you think, boy, how fucking stupid is spitting in a cup? Yeah. But when you're doing it, it's, and everybody else is, that's what you do.
Well, it's not any different than having a beer and lighting a cigarette. I mean, that's what you do. Yeah, that's just, like sitting at the bar and, you're having a drink and there's a thing of peanuts. You grab peanuts. You're not hungry.
Yeah.
You just do it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sitting there talking with my brother Jeff Williams. We're going to crank him up. He just rolled in. Man, Jeff, I'm glad you guys got a chance to come out here, man. You sorry ass moved to Kodiak, Alaska. I love you to death. We don't get a chance to see you enough. So we're going to roll sound tonight. We'll record Jeff singing a couple of songs and do a special edition of the Steve Austin Show podcast. We got family and friends out here. It's deer season at the Broken Skull Ranch, and that's the bottom line because I said so. I'm coming back to wrap this show up. I don't have a match of the week this week. I'm going to give you guys a pass. It's time to just have a good time, work on having a good time as we bring in the new year, set your sights on a very productive 2015. I want to say thank you very much for everybody who has tuned into this show and has downloaded the family-friendly show on Tuesday or the Unleashed show that you listen to right now on Thursday where everything flies. Thanks my buddy Ted Fowler, 361, joining in.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
All this month, stream the funniest films for free on Pluto TV. Watch comedy classics like Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and Mean Girls. Or drop in for a Tyler Perry marathon with a Medea family funeral and Medea's witness protection. Pluto TV also has hundreds of channels and thousands of movies and TV shows like Get Shorty, Be Cool, Key and Peele, Comedy in Color, and more. And no contracts, no subscriptions, no fees, no joke. So download the Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device and start laughing today. Pluto TV, drop in, watch free.
Hey sports fans, it's Chris Howard, former Jacksonville Jaguar running back and 1997 National Championship running back from the University of Michigan. Get plugged in with me every week as I'll be breaking down the biggest topics in the world of sports and entertainment. Join me and my special guests for some honest conversations about sports and life when the cameras are no longer flashing. I'll also be breaking down weekly matchups for NFL and college football games. Be in the know, listen to, and follow Plugged In with Chris Howard now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Big Brother Jake, a.k.a. Jake Warner. My government name. Check it out. I host a show called the Big Brother Jake Podcast, and I've taken my talents to the biggest and baddest platform on the planet. That's right, baby. PodcastOne. My show is unique as I talk about everything. Life, sports, entertainment, being a single dad juggling several jobs. I'm a hot mess, but it's damn entertaining. Subscribe and review now on Apple Podcasts and listen on Podcast One or wherever you get your podcasts.